of July. Although it's not time to blow things up. Just kidding. But we are going to blow up some red, white, and blue here in the quilting room. So welcome to Breakfast at Tiffany's. I'm Tiffany, your host. I mean, because obviously it's Breakfast at Tiffany's, right? And we're at my house. Anyways, let's see who is all here while I wait for this to come up. Oh, he closed the chat or something. Closed the chat. There we go. Come on, chat. It closed. We got Kim, C, Pooley, Judy, Michelle, Marnin, Marnin. I think that's what it is. Mama J, Diane, Mary, Pat, Irish Sail Lady, Jane, Cheryl, Connie, Michelle, Aldea, Karen, Shirley, Jody, Lori, and so many more. Is it working over there?
It's playing, but there's no chat.
Okay, well then here you go. We need to put Google Chrome on his computer because it's not working on whatever his Bing or whatever he's using for YouTube. I have no idea. All right, so today we are going to make this lovely project right here. This is a lovely little quilt that's 23 inches by 23 inches that I have designed just for you for today. And guess what? If you're me or like me and you want to be like me, this can be made in under 2 hours. Just letting you know that. But if you want to do this later, this is just a whole scrap project. So I had this shoebox here that was filled with red, white, and blue scraps. I cut most of the scraps down, and what you will need for today is if you have a clearly perfect slotted trimmer, that would be nice to use because there's a lot of triangles that we're going to be cutting, half square triangles. But for today's project, we need 20 blue, so all blues. They have red, white on them too, but 20 blue 2.5-inch squares, 20 white 2.5-inch squares. Now you can use your tone on tone or you can use plain white. I didn't have enough tone on tone for this project, so I just cut plain white for my stars, which is fine because it worked out perfect. Then you're going to need 10 white 2-inch squares and 40 blue 2-inch squares, and then a whole slew of, you don't really need this many, you just need 15 red and white 2-inch strips by 14.5-inch. And I only say 14.5 because they only need to be 14 inches, but when you start sewing them into strip units like this, they start getting wonky, so I made it 14.5 so that you can equal the whole thing out. And or you don't even have to have a 14-inch strip. You can have 3 different red prints in there, but 2-inch by 5-inch, 2-inch by 4.5, and 2-inch by 3 something, blah, blah, blah. Whatever equals 14.5. That way when you go to trim it, it works out perfect. So I just have my lovely stack of 2-inch pieces for that, and I will choose from there. I have enough, but I had 2 blues for the end, and I wanted to incorporate them. So technically there's 13 red and white and 2 blue on the end. So let me repeat that. You need 40 2-inch blue pieces. That if you want your background to be blue at your stars. 10 2-inch whites, 20 2.5-inch white, and 20 2.5-inch blue. And then your 15 strips of red and white. And this is the most easiest project you will ever make. I'm telling you, it is. So we're going to start off with our 2.5-inch squares, and we're going to draw a line from corner to corner. I'm going to do an invisible one because I'm going to use my seam tape. And we're going to sew on both sides of the drawn line and make 40 in total half square triangles. So I'm going to get started sewing these, and I'll just be right here, literally one right after the other until they are all sewn on both sides. So I'm going to get started, and Thumper is going to come say hi while I start sewing these. Say hi, kitty, kitty. Say happy 4th of July. Say hi. Hi, everybody. Say meow, happy 4th of July. All right. So I'm just going to sew these from corner to corner, a 1/4 inch away from the corner. Making 2 half square triangles per. So on both sides of the corner to corner. Does that make any sense? Yeah, sure. Why not? Like I said, it can be made in under 2 hours because I made it, quilted, and bound it all in under 2 hours. So I'm pretty sure you can too because it's just a small project. So if you want a quick flag to hurry up and hang up today, this is like the cutest thing ever. I love it. I think it came out adorable, so much so that I had to make a test one to make sure, and then come to you guys today with the actual one. It's so much fun. And it's easy, really easy. And you can probably, if you wanted, if you want bigger ones, you can also just make a bigger quilt by using bigger squares. So if you wanted to start with, 3-inch squares and make 2.5-inch half square triangles, and then use 2.5-inch of your blues and 2.5-inch of your white center squares, and so on and so forth, you can do that. Or use 5-inch squares if you have a red, white, and blue themed charm pack, or, whatever you want. You could also do the charm pack and do the 4 at a time flying geese method and get more made that way. It's up to you how you want to do it. There's lots of options here. This is made whatever size you want to make it. I'm just making the wall hanging size, which is the only size that I put into math for you. Almost done sewing on the one side of my drawn line, and then I'll flip them over and do the other side. Like I said, this goes pretty quick. Huh? Yes. All right, so I'm going to just take the whole thing to my lap and then sew the opposite side now. Sliding them all through. This is called chain piecing. It's also called I ran out of bobbin, I've been making lots of stuff in here and doing lots of things, so I'm using up all these partially bobbins, at least attempting to. I really don't care what color my thread is. It's not really seeable. If I was using black thread, maybe it would be seeable behind my white, but just trying to use up all these random colors that I have going on. I don't know why nothing's working. Type something from the phone. Maybe it's just your computer. Oh, I don't know then. And you can see I literally just sew really quickly through this. It's so easy to chain piece. And that bobbin ran out too. Yay, another one used up. It's a miracle. That one didn't have much on it at all. All right, let's try another one. This one has a little bit on it. This one might last for just a little while. I literally only have 2 pieces left to stitch. Normally for a video I would roll bobbins, but I don't have any empty bobbins because I have them all full with all these random colors. Okay, so now I have an empty one. All right, now I'm going to snip them all apart. Oops, come on. All right, and then what we're going to do after they have been snipped apart is I'm going to use my, what did I call this thing again? Clearly Perfect slotted trimmer. And there's a straight edge, so I'm going to use it to cut corner to corner to separate my 2 half square triangles. And then I'm going to line my 2-inch mark. This is the single inch, not the 1/2 inch marking. Clearly Perfect slotted trimmer has a one that has whole numbers and one that has half numbers. So we want the one with the whole numbers that are 2-inch, and you're barely trimming anything off. I'm going to line up the stitch line with the stitch line, and I'm literally just going to trim them off. I'm not even worrying about the dog ears because I'm really close to the edge right here. I'll get those after the fact. Right now I'm just going to trim everything. So again, cutting from corner to corner, multiple use little ruler here. I can't see the stitch, so I have to do it on the blue side. Oh yeah, if you want to, yeah, that'd probably be nice. Scott's going to move the camera closer so that you can see what I'm doing here. He's going to carefully move it so the camera is moving. No, my other one is. No, I have 2. So I'm just trimming these down to 2 inches. Oh. Is that internet working then? Oh. Switch the internet then, or turn Wi-Fi off. Yeah. Oops, let's snip it in half first. That would be the smart thing to do.
How would you do that with a regular ruler?
With a regular ruler, we would take a ruler like this, a regular ruler, and you would take your stitching line right here and the 2-inch markings right here and right here. This is a 2.5-inch ruler, but there's a 2-inch mark right here at this point and this point. You would lay it on here sideways and you would line that 2-inch point with this side of the stitch line, and then you would put the other 2-inch point at this side of the stitch line. Once they're both lined up, you would cut like that on both sides. So if you have only a regular ruler, slice it in half, leave it folded like this, line up the 2-inch points right here and right there up with the stitching line, and then slice. So if you don't have any fancy rulers and you only have your straight ones, this is still easy to do when it's like this. So you can do it however you want. I usually do it like this, but I do have the Clearly Perfect slotted trimmers, so why not use them, you know? Got to start using the things I have. But you can see that that's just as simple as using this. And if you don't have the Clearly Perfect slotted trimmer, you can also use the, what is it called? Strip tube ruler and line up on their 2-inch line on your 2-inch sewing line seam and do it that way as well. So if you have the the strip tube ruler, you can use that to trim all yours down as well. And if you have a square ruler, it's going to be the same as the rectangle. You're just going to cut it in half and then line up your 2-inch markings. For those that don't like doing 2-inch squares, like I said, you can do this in bigger. These 2-inch ones can be a little bit finicky because they are smaller, but honestly, a beginner could do 2-inch squares because I was when I was a beginner messing with little squares. And all we're doing is making 4th of July confetti right here on the lovely table. All right, so as soon as I get a bunch of these started, we're going to hand them over to Scott to start pressing. I still have a lot more to cut, but we're going to press them all towards the dark, which would be the blue. So we're going to be very careful about it. And then when we send them to him, as long as they don't get wonky, he's just going to press these back towards the dark and make them super flat because it makes the project go a lot easier when your little squares are flat. So right now I'm just finger pressing them to send them over to him so that they don't get creases or folds because these are kind of small. No, I do not starch. None of this has been starched. This was all scraps, so there was no point in starching my scraps. Yeah, Scott forgot to turn the light on. I was liking it. Yeah. When I'm in here alone, I only keep the one light on and my sewing machine light because it's too hot to have an iron and all the lights on. Plus, it's just bright. Anybody, feel me with that? Because I really don't like a lot of bright lights. It's headaches. That's all it is headaches. I know, but I don't want no creases in them or else they won't be 2 inches because these need to stay exact. Here's some more for you to do. All right, so I'm going to finish trimming these apart. It does not matter what order they're in because I'm going to mix them all up anyway. We're doing this the scrappy way. We're mixing it all up when we go to put these together. What's everybody doing today for the 4th of July? Are you having a barbecue? Are your grandkids or nieces and nephews or your children gonna be around and party hardy with some fireworks? Just don't let the children have the fireworks. Although when my kids were little, they used to love to jump over the little ground fireworks. Only because I did it and they wanted to do it, and well.
We did it as adults.
I still do it as an adult, yeah. We don't buy fireworks because we're broke, and there's no sense in blowing our money up. But yeah, it's definitely fun to watch fireworks shows, which I usually do from the roof, but it was 115 yesterday and it's supposed to be about the same today, so I'm not even going to bother going on the roof. I'll try to watch the town's fireworks show from the ground, which I could usually see if I stand on my tippy toes or on a chair or something out back. I just don't want to stand on it the whole show because that just annoys me, but. Oop. Got a little spot right there. Oh, I know. Could, should, but probably not gonna. Anybody gonna go swimming today or do just something nice and fun? I thought about going to my friend's house and go swimming, but you know, it is the 4th of July and who knows what everybody that I swim at's houses are for their plans for today. I am going to a sort of barbecue at the Elks later for lunch, which is always fun. Every year we go. If any of you guys are joined into like your local Elks lodges, or what are the other ones called that people have in other towns? Scotty, do you know? Legion and other things like that. There's all sorts of those kind of places that you can be joined into to go. Elks. Yeah, we're going to the Elks. All right. Once these are all pressed, we're going to get started on the next step, and the camera's just going to stay where it is because I don't want to confuse you guys with a right and a left spinning friendship star, because we're going to do friendship stars 2 different ways, and we're doing that on purpose. So we want to make sure that we get it correct, nice and accurate. All right, here's the last of it. And then the only thing I sit and do real quickly is I cut the dog ears off just like this, instead of using the slotted trimmer, because that top one up here is really close to my fingers and it's really hard to use that for that. So I just clip them off manually. So this is the confetti making.
These ones that time?
Mm-hmm. Come on. And you can use your rotary cutter to cut the dog ears off, or you could just, whatever. I don't know why they call these dog ears. They look more like cat ears. Cat ears stick up better than dog ears. Or you can just call it cutting off the excess little triangles so that you don't have bulk. Oh, that's a long thing to say, I guess. Come on. There we go.
Telling our neighbors to put a new roof on.
Yeah, our neighbors are in the process of putting a new roof on. Our neighbors are the roofers, though, so they're our local, one of the local roofing companies. So when this is all done, you should have 42-inch Blue and white half square triangles. You done?
Yeah.
Okay, can I have the rest?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. All right. Getting close to being done with these. You can close it out and then come back in then if it's just an internet thing. Oh, my phone doesn't do that. That's not something you can do on the phone. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with the live stream today. Is anyone else having problems with the live stream today?
It's just me.
Or is it just because Scott is touching electronics like usual?
Me, electronics don't like me.
Yeah, he doesn't do good with electronics. Come on, last two. All right, ready to celebrate with some confetti. Look at that. Oh, so pretty. All right, let's scoop it all into the trash where the rest of the red, white, and blue confetti is from me doing this. All right, here's the part that you guys, I don't want you to get confused with, so that is why we tipped the camera down. We are going to make some friendship stars. So some of the stars are going to face one way, and the other ones, oops, yeah, we're doing white, are going to face the opposite way. So I'm going to go ahead and make two different piles like this, and I'm going to take and turn my stars. This one goes that way, and that way. Then this one goes this way. Nope, it goes that way. Nope, it goes. Sorry, these are easy to get turned around. That one is that way. That one is not that way. Hold on, I gotta make sure by looking at the chart. If this one, let's do it this way like this. This way. This one is that way, not that way. Okay, my white is running right here. My white is running right here. My white is running right here. And my white, oops, let's grab a different star color. My white will be running. This is why I have a chart for myself right there. So that's one direction, and then this one is the opposite. So this one, the white goes here. We're gonna make sure that the white's there. And we have the white here. And we have the white there, just like that. So you're creating a diamond, 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 diamond. There we go. And then we're going to take our random blue squares and lay them around. I'm not trying to have the same colors in the, hold on, let's grab another one right here. I'm not trying to have the same colors. We'll put that guy and that guy right there next to each other. So we have a star that faces one direction and a star that faces the other direction. We're going to make 5 of these and 5 of these. And the easiest way for me to do that is to stack them all up. So I'm going to go ahead now and just stack on top. 1, 2, come on, 3, and 4. We'll put this on here. 1, and this. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go to the side, do this. 2, 3, 4. Grab one of these. 2, 3, 4. And we'll go back to this one. 1, 2. Already got that guy. Let's do 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One of these. Let's do this one. One of those. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Got 2, 3. Yes, I'm counting out loud. 4. What am I at? 3 in each pile so far? So this will make the 4th one for this pile. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4. That makes 4. That's 5, and that's 5. 1, 2. All right, and the 5th one for each pile. 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to stick that there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Oops. 3. And we'll put that one there, that one there. There we go. They're all mixed up. Can you see the sewing machine? Okay. We're going to take this pile right here, and I'm going to chain piece the whole thing through. So I'm going to separate them just a little so that you can see how this works. I'm going to take this top one and this top one, and I'm going to put them right sides together. I'm not going to flip or turn anything, and I'm going to slide this one through with a 1/4 inch seam. I'm going to take this next 2. I'm not going to move or touch anything. I'm just going to put the second one over the first one, slide that through, and then we're going to go down to the 3rd one. Try not to let these get twisted or turned. Come on. You know, when you stick fabric together, it likes to stick together. And then stack that and sew that through. And now I'm going to start at the top again. I'm going to come like this, right sides together, until this whole entire 1st and 2nd row are pieced together. 2nd. And then the 3rd. And then we're going to go back to the 1st, right sides together. 2nd. Without turning or moving anything. We're keeping it all in order. And then this one. And this is chain piecing. Slide this through. Go back to the top again. You're doing it in sets of 3. Because these are just 9 patches now. Third. And then the last 2 from this row, right sides together. You could also just make one block at a time, but we're literally only making 10 blocks. That'll finish at 5 inches. These are just going to be 5-inch blocks. And last one. Stay lined up. Finicky little pieces. And then all I'm going to do now is break the thread, bring this whole entire thing to the top, and then I'm going to press this towards the blue, and then the next one will go towards the white, and then the next one will go towards the blue, and I'm going to do that all the way down while I grab one piece, right sides together, stick it on, so I'm at the top first, and then I'm going to grab that middle, that's second. And then I'm going to grab the bottom, which is the third. And then I'm going to repeat first, second, third with the next ones. Or the outside and to the outside and start all over from the top. Grab the second piece. And the third. Like I said, this is very, very, very easy to do. Again, I'm just going to finger press that way, this way, and that way. So left, right, left. Grab this, start from the top. Do number 2. And number 3. Do it again, and we only have 2 more left to add for this way, for this direction of the lock. So grab the top one, and the middle, and the bottom. And my last one is to press. I'm just doing it with my finger right here. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 again. And then this whole stack will be sewn together. So all we need to do now is in sets of 3. 1, 2, 3, snip, snip. 1, 2, 3, snip, snip. 1, 2, 3. You're just doing it in sets of 3. 1, 2, 3, snip, snip. Now we're going to go ahead and press these to the right, to the left, and to the right. And then our pieces are together on all of these, so we can't lose the order of anything. We're just going to take this, go right sides together. And you can see everything I'm doing right here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And we're going to do a 1/4 inch seam. Nesting the seams as I sew. One side, I'm going to open it up. Now on this, we're going to finger press these ones for now away from the center. And then when we get to these, we're going to press those final seam towards the center because they need to be opposite of each other because we're alternating. So these ones are going away from the center. So you can see my seams will be away from the center. It'll be nice and flat. And there's one. So I'm going to go ahead and grab another and do that. Third, right sides together, nesting those seams up. If you guys need an extra video on how to do the friendship star, I have a double friendship star video, but it's basically the same exact thing without the extra piece. It's how to put the little pieces together at least. So I'm going to press these out the seam, Because when I do the other ones, I will press those in. Nesting my little seams up. Sewing 1/4 inch and press these away from me right here. And there's block number 2. I'm gonna do that again. Finger press this out, in, out, place right sides together, nest the little seams up, and everything should be exactly the same size. If you have a continuous good 1/4 inch seam throughout the whole entire thing, then everything should match right up. I'm gonna finger press that out, put this one on. All right. So there's the 3rd. We're gonna do the 4th and the 5th, and then we'll start chain piecing the other direction. Squares or blocks, whatever you want to call them. These are technically blocks once they're sewn together. But the block is a square, so I mean, I guess it's okay however you say it. All right, put this one on there. And then we'll hand all these off to Scott to press for me. That way they stay nice and flat. But they're already finger pressed, so all he has to do is make the block flat without making it not square. All right, lining this last one up. Finger pressing it out. Grab that next, last, and final piece. Put it on there. Nest the seam up. And finger press that back. So now these are all ready for Scott to make flat. So I'm just going to stack them all up and throw them over to him. And we're going to start on this pile. Again, I like to separate them a little bit because it's easier to grab the fabrics. So again, I'm going to take the top one and this next one. I'm going to do that same exact process now, right? Sides together. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 until I do that 5 times for my 5 blocks without turning or flipping or moving anything. Just going to bring my pieces over, put them right sides together. Sew a 1/4 inch seam. It's very easy to chain piece like this. And I really like to do projects that are like this in the first place, where you can chain piece the whole entire thing together. So when you make repetitive blocks over and over again, it's really easy to chain piece everything. Saves a lot of time, saves on all the extra thread from breaking between each block kind of thing. These are 2-inch squares. The block finishes at, well, it ends at 5 inches. It finishes at 4.5. It yields you a 5-inch square before you turn it into the quilt. These squares, though, are 2 inches. The half square triangles are 2 inches. Next 3. Oops, I let that one get turned. Got to make sure that I don't turn them. Just bring them over to me exactly how they lay. do the other side. And one more. Now, before you do anything, you could also just finger press on the way back the opposite way. So you would do left, right, left, and then the next three, left, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, and left. Now you're going to start from the top again and hook it to the top one. So I'm just going to attach this on. Grab that next, put that on. And the next. Over and over and over from top to bottom until all 5 are pieced together. And then everything is all mixed up, so all of my blocks will be nice and scrappy. No 2 colors should match next to each other, even though it's all blue. So no 2 same blue color pieces will be matching. Keep it nice and fun and scrappy. Top again. Middle. Bottom. And then I only have one left. Top. Middle. Huh? Yep, as soon as I'm done putting them together. All right, again in sets of 3. 1, 2, 3, snip, snip. 1, 2, 3, blah, blah, blah. You know the deal here. 2, 3, because they're in sets of 3. And then everything's cooked together, so none of this can get messed up at all. We're just gonna go ahead and finger press. You could take it to the iron if you want, but it's easier to just sit and finger press. And then we're gonna right sides together, nest up the seam, sew it. And then this time, for this set of blocks, we're gonna press these ones towards the middle. So the seam is gonna go in towards the left. So I'm gonna grab the bottom one, put this on here. Huh? The newlyweds are good. They both work. I don't see them very often because they have very busy jobs in life. All right, there's the star of the different direction. All right, so again, yeah, I saw Damon on Mother's Day, but that was a while back. Like I said, I don't see the kids very often, and I haven't been doing my dates with them. If you didn't know, I used to do kid dates. Once a month, it would be a different kid, but things have been kind of a slower around here when it comes to payments. The summer thing is, I don't make as much money in the summer as I do in the winter. So let's just say I haven't been able to take them out on dates, which is how I keep active in their lives. So unless they text me or message me, or if I cook dinner, which I never do in the summertime, I don't see them or talk to them. It's really hard too, but that's okay. They're young adults. I don't think, well, no, I've always talked to my mom all the time, even when I was a young adult. Scott, it's a girl thing. Scott's mom lives here in town. He talks to her when he talks to her. My mom lives out of town. I talk to her when I talk to her. But when I was a young adult, I talked to her all the time because I was like, Mom, so-and-so has a fever. What should I do? Or Mom, when are you going to come out and visit, hang with your grandkids? But it was only so that she'd come out and hang out with me because, you know, I was bored and needed adult interaction. All right, again, press inward. There we go, last two left. There we go, let's finger press that, right sides together. So easy nesting up those seams. So that 1/4 inch. Press it in towards the middle. So the back of these, again, in towards the middle on this round. It doesn't matter which ones you do as long as one set of 5 goes in and one set of 5 goes out. All right, right sides together on this. Everything should nest and match right up. All right, and then the last one. Nest those up. Everything should be exactly the same size. If you've pieced with a 1/4 inch seam the whole entire time. I'm actually not using my seam guide because I'm trying to train myself to sew straight without it. Which is I'm getting a little bit better, but I'm trying. Yeah, so if my stuff isn't perfect, it's because the last week of sewing, I've been trying to do everything without a seam guide. All right, so I'm gonna send these over to Scott to be pressed, and those two. All right, so as soon as he's done with that, we'll work on those for now. I'm just gonna move them out of the way, and we're gonna move on to our red and white strips. Right now, mine are not pressed, and this is another reason why I gave you a 14.5 inch number, is because they're gonna have to be pressed as well, because they are not pressed. We're gonna choose out 14 strips, and like I said, you can piece, or 15 strips. You can also piece them. Okay, it doesn't have to be just the one. You could also piece them. So I'm going to take a red one here, a white one that looks like it has 14.5 inches. That one has exactly 14. Here's a white one that has more than I need on it. That one does not. That one does not. That one definitely does. We need some more red ones. Here's one that says the 4th on it. Oh, but that's only 12. But we can add to it. Like I said, they can be pieced together. So I'm going to piece those two together because I want to use that. Here's one red. This one's a whole entire strip. There's another red. I'll use this guy. That's a whole entire strip. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. I'm going to put a blue on one end and a blue on the other end, same that I did with my other one, so that I have 13 stripes, 4 of each. So that's 1, 2, that's 8, 9, 10. We need we'll do this one. 11. Is this 14 here? Oh, that's exactly 14. 12. We'll use this one here because that's a long strip. And this one here because that's a long strip. These are not long enough. So what do I have here now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11, 12, 13. We're going to piece that, so that's 14. And we'll put this one with this one. All right, let me piece some of these together real quick so that I can make a 14.5-inch piece. So some will be pieced and some will not for me. Oh, let's move that out of the way momentarily. Just going to sew these ends to make a long piece. So here's 2 reds. Can you press those for me? I'm going to sew these together as well. We already have that. Let's sew these 2 together. These right here.
Oh, yeah.
Let's sew these 2 together because I already have that other one. And let's hope that that gives me enough. All right, and then iron that too. All right. No, one way or the other. It doesn't matter because it's not going to be next to something with a seam. It's on the floor. It fell on the floor. All right, let's cut some 14.5-inch pieces off of here. Just going to use my ruler on the side like this. Just going to line it up. Like I said, they haven't even been pressed, so that helps a little bit because I'm going to be pressing everything to make it as flat as I need. And right here in front of me, I'm going to lay this out in the order that I want my strips to be. So that one is done. Thank you. Yep, and that one. And then we'll use this one. We'll grab 14.5 off of here. Like I said, we'll trim down. Oh, another one went flying. Yep. All right, that's one end. So we're going to start with red. No, I'm laying it out now.
Oh, all right.
I'm going to go ahead and cut right here. It doesn't even have to be equal. We're just cutting them down. So it's red, and then we're going to do white. So we'll just do a solid white. Grab 14.5 inches off of there. And then we'll grab another red. Let's do this red. Put that over there. Right here. Some of these aren't even 4th of July themed, but I didn't have as many that I thought I had. Let's do this one. Right there. It goes up here on this pile. It just fell because nothing wants to stay.
Okay.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we're back to red. Let's do this one. This one has a selvage on it. I'm going to cut that off first. We're going to line this up to have a 15, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do this one. That one was 14, but that's fine. 7. Back to red. We'll do this one. That's 8. And then we'll do this one. Oops, let's cut from the side that's not a selvage, so I don't have to worry about that. 9. And then let's do this red. Throw all these little cuts away, out of the way. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, let's do this one. We'll do 11. Do this 12. Throw that out of the way. 13. Toss that one out of the way. This will be number 14. Like I said, you can piece them. They don't have to be one solid strip, which is the fun part about this. That, and then this, 15. So I don't want two pieced whites next to each other, so I'm going to throw this guy there and that one there. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now we're going to start piecing these together. So I'm just going to take the first two from way down there, and I am going to use a seam guide for this because I'm really bad at long stitches with keeping it straight. The short ones I'm good. The long straight stitches, I am not good. I'm just going to line them up, sew the two together. Then I'm going to grab the next two, and I'm going to keep them in order that I had them laid down by sewing them through like this. With a 1/4 inch seam. Then I'm going to grab the next two. Oh, I still have thread. Okay. Then the next two. And the next one, next. And so on until they are all sewn but one. Because you'll have one single piece, because 15 doesn't divide by 2. Then these two, and then that last one we're going to attach to these two. So I'm going to bring this back down to me and attach that last one on here. So I'm just going to open these up. I'm not pressing them because I don't know which way my seams go at this very moment. I'm just kind of opening it up a little bit. And I broke thread, or it came out of the hole is what it did. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead, snip them apart, and lay them back in order like this. Like I said, this is how this part would get wonky because you're sewing strip sets. They're small strip sets, but they're strip sets nonetheless. So for now, I'm going to just open this up. I'm not pressing anything really to one side or the other. I'm going to take that second set of two and I'm going to attach those to this. Nothing's pressed yet. We will press when we make the whole unit, because that way we'll know which way the seams will go. They'll be opposite of each other, trust me. So I'm gonna go ahead, open this up now, and then take this set and hook this to it. I'm just lining up the top. The bottoms are whatever length they want to be because they really are like 14 or 14 and a half at the moment. Open that up, add another one. Just laying it open on top of there, lining up the top. Sewing down the side. And now we ran out of bobbin. Let's put another one in there.
Joys of playing with the bobbin.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to, like I said, use up these, and this one's not going to last very long either. Let's put something that's going to last a little bit longer just because. Let's put this one in there. That way I can make sure that I can keep going for a bit. Okay, let's try that again. All right, here we go. Sew all the way down this. Okay, good, it's stitched. I was like, it didn't sound like it was stitching, but it did. All right, open this up, add the next. You're always attaching a white to a red or a red to a white when you do this. You can't really mess them up. And if you're in a different country and you have different flag colors, you could make this with your country's colors. I don't know every country's flag colors, so I don't know what I would say, but England is red, white, and blue too, isn't it? Yeah, so England would have red, white, and blue flags, so you can make it however you want with whatever colors. All right, and then that last three is going to go on the end right here. Like I said, I'm not pressing yet because I don't know which way those seams are going to go at the moment. My last one ended up one way, but these are probably going to end up a totally different way because, you know, the two projects never come out exactly the same. So until I press, I have a unit that looks like this. You can see it needs to be pressed and flattened out. But before I do that, let's lay the stars out so that we know how we're going to lay or how we're going to press our seams. All right, two different ways of the star. So you're going to start with whatever order. You can have them this way or you can have them this way. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to move this out of the way momentarily. We're going to take one of these, and you can see my seams are one way. And then we're going to take the other one, and you can see my seams go in like that. As long as two blocks like this are not the same. Then we're going to go to this one, and then we're going to go to this one. And then one more for this row from that pile. Now that next row is going to start with the pile right here. So this one's going to go there, then one of these, then one of these, then one of these, and then one of those. I'm going to make sure all of my seams are going the direction they need because Scott did press them and pass them to me in a way that probably messed The order, yep, up. All right, everything is now, I'm gonna check to make sure no two same colors are touching. And so far, it looks like they are all beautifully mixed up. I don't see two colors touching.
He says you're modern day Betsy Ross.
All right, so what we're gonna do is sew these together now. So I'm gonna sew this whole row together. These seams should nest right here when you combine each block. But this seam right here, we're gonna either press right or left. So this whole row up here, I'm gonna press all of those to the left, and this one I'm gonna press all of them to the right. And then when we look underneath, that's gonna give us the order to press these. So I'm gonna go ahead and now, right sides together, these should nest right up. So you're just gonna line them up and sew with your 1/4 inch seam. So I'm gonna go ahead and press this one. Oh, I'll just go right because right is already in front of me. I'm gonna grab the next one, lay it on here. Those seams should nest right up because they are pressed in opposite directions. I'm gonna go ahead and just press this to the right. And that one did not line up at all, but I don't care because guess what? I've never cared about that kind of stuff. They're just a little off, but that's okay. They're not gonna be exact. Nothing is exact, nothing is perfect. We cannot make perfect anything. At least I can't. All right, again, I'm gonna go to the right with that, and then put this last one on here. Making sure that I'm nesting these seams, and they should because they're the same size. And then finger press to the right. And you can see my star points right here. If it was like perfectly pieced, they would be touching each other. These ones would touch each other. These ones are off, and these ones kind of touch each other. Like I said, it's not perfect. It can't be perfect. So we're gonna do this next row, same exact thing, and nest it up. So my 1/4 inch seam. And then this one, I'm gonna press to the left. Grab that next one. What do you think you're doing, Mr. Kitty Cat?
We went over to you, huh?
You're trying to get my attention? All right, again, I'm pressing this one to the left. Grab this, put this on. And to the left. One more. And finger press that to the left. And before I even go iron, I'm just going to go ahead now and join the two together like this. And they're not all, but they should. So these two are not going to nest, but I always just flip one or the other, which is really easy for me to do. These two will nest. So I'm going to flip my bottom ones because those are non-bulky seams. The top one would be bulky. It's really, really, if you press open, which is, a lot of people's preferred method, then you won't have to worry about flipping seams. I just, I'm a seam flipper. You can snip your flipped seam as well. So every other two, I'm flipping. Come on. I probably should have chose to do the top one instead of the bottom one, but. And then those two will nest right up, and then these two will not. And these two will not. These two will. You just make it work. Last one. Let's go that way with this one, this way with that one. All right, and I'm going to take this whole entire thing now over to the ironing board and press it. It wants to lay this way, so I'm going to press the seam that way. Yeah. Ditto. Right now I'm just forcing my flipped seams to one side from the back first. Then I'll flip it over and do the top. Obviously, we're not going to move the camera again though, because that's just too much movement for one day. Okay. My star blocks, they're together. Now this is going to determine which way. So I'm going to go to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the, okay, right, left is what I'm doing on my long piece. Nah, it's good, I'm fine. Right, left, right, left, right. That would be that way. And then I'm going to press from the top once I have it all, oops, the way I need it. I'm not trying to wiggle or move this, by the way. I'm just pressing it nicely. I do not want to adjust it at all because I don't want it to bow. All right, here is my bottom half of my flag. The first thing I'm going to do real quickly is I'm going to turn it right here and I'm going to trim this. I lined all this top up, so this is all equal. But the bottom, I'm going to trim now to 14 inches. So I'm going to lay it right here on the line, Everything is on a line, and we're going to go to the 14-inch mark right there and right there. There we go. This is why I had you cut extra, just in case they were just a little bit wonky. I'm going to take that whole thing and make sure one more time that this other side is 14 inches, and it should be. I have a little tiny bit that was hanging over. Right there. Right there. Just a tiny, because not everything is perfect. And this is the way it was. This is the way I pressed it. So now the last thing to do is attach this to this. And remember, we already turned our seams, so now they're going to be opposite the whole way down. So now I'm going to sew this with a 1/4-inch seam. And everything should nest right up. And they should be nice and lovely. I'm stopping at every seam though to make sure that they are nested because I didn't pre-pin anything. I'm just laying them here. There. And this one. Beautiful. Look at that one. This one. This one. Make sure that it's nested. It is. And last one right there. And then I'm going to take this now, and instead of pressing towards this, I'm actually going to flip it over and press it towards my reds because it's less bulkier that way because there's no points right here at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead now and just press that really nicely. And when it's pressed, you should have yourself a 23-inch. We're going to make sure by laying it right here. 23, it's a slightly bigger because I probably, didn't have that perfect 1/4 inch seam, but it's pretty much 23 inches square. And there is our star, and we still have plenty of time to quilt it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to grab a piece of batting. I have lots of scrap batting. Let's see if this is, oh, that's not going to be enough. Too short. Let's find another one. Momentarily, I'm going to right back to it because I got to press this on there. All right, here is a piece of scrap batting. So I'm going to cut this batting onto here to the roughly size I need. Let's move this out, and then we're going to take some backing fabric, which I already have in here. Go ahead now and just cut across the bottom here. Okay, my batting is ready. Now I just need to get my backing fabric ready. Here is my backing fabric. I do know that my quilt is 23 inches, so my backing fabric should be about 25 if I'm just doing it right here at the machine. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut it about 25.5, like this. We're going to turn it, open it, and then we're going to cut this big chunk right here, a little bit bigger than my board. I'm going to come over here and just do it this way because I need 25, 26 right there is good. 27 because there's selvage on here. I'm just going to cut right here at the edge where you guys can't see. A nice chunk off. On the long arm, I was able to do this in 8 minutes, the quilting part, but we're not on the long arm. We're going to do this sit down. I'm going to press this real quick, making sure that my backing fabric is nice and flat. This is a directional fabric here. As you can see, it's directional. So I'm going to go ahead now and make sure that it's laying in a directional position to put my quilt top on. Go ahead and lay this on here. Nope. Lay it on here. Look at that. Plenty space. It looks really straight. going to turn it around and smooth that back out because I don't have room on my ironing board for any of this right now because I have a lot of jobs that I've been doing.
Gonna have a border?
No borders. It just sits just like this.
It's gonna be just like the one on the wall.
Just like the one on the wall. All right, and now we are going to quilt on this. I'm not going to free motion. I'm just going to do walking foot. So I'm going to go ahead and switch my machine to a walking foot. And I'm also going to grab some, we'll grab some red thread. Let's see. This red?
Don't forget to put the hanging loops
That's not right yet. That's not for a while. Yep, we're going to use some red thread on this. All right, so I'm going to roll a red bobbin because I now have some empty bobbins to do so with. And then we're going to change out the walking foot while I'm rolling this bobbin. I'm not even going to spray baste or anything. I'm literally going to quilt this without doing anything extra to it. Oh, let's change out to the walking foot. I don't need that or that next to me. Put my walking foot on here. Oops. Right there. Yes. Not, well, I kind of wanted to iron this whole thing a little bit flatter real quick before I started, but you need to move all the foam for me. All the foam and all that stuff out of my way. All right, I have a bobbin rolled. Switch that out, tie this thread up. Yeah, that should be enough space. Move the wool thing too. No. Thread my needle. That over here. No pinning. I'm not going to pin. You can pin yours or spray baste or however you want to do it. I'm not even going to bother. I am going to flatten this out though with the iron real quick on my ironing board. As long as it still works. I want to make sure that everything is nice and super flat. Super flat. Flat like you were when you were 12 years old. Sorry, I know I'm weird.
That's terrible, my love.
How weird am I? The super weird. Look at that. It totally. All right. That is as flat as I'm going to get this thing. No wrinkles, no nothing. Here we go. Let's quilt it on here with a walking foot. I'm going to go ahead, slide one side up under here, and I'm not going to do straight lines. I'm going to do wavy lines from one side to the other. I'm going to change my stitch length to a 3. You can turn the iron off now. Also, can you go get me a clip or a tie or something for my hair? So I'm just going to slowly wave. Break thread, come back to the top. I'm going to use my foot as a guide, but first I'm going to tie my hair up because quilting always heats me up, this sit down stuff. It's next to the bed. Thank you. I think I just need to keep one in here. All right, so I'm going to use my walking foot as my spacer, about right there. Okay. My waves are not going to be perfect. They might even go in towards each other. Just rocking my project. And just keep going from top to bottom. So if any shifting happens, it happens from top to bottom. Just rocking my project back and forth. And you probably don't have to quilt as fast as I'm quilting because, you know, but I just like going fast. I'm just quilting from top to bottom, one side to the other. Oh, why did you not cut? Because you're a weird machine, and sometimes that doesn't work. And you can see from the back, everything is staying together. I have no puckering because I'm not crossing over. I'm just going up, down, from the top to the bottom. Making waves. Huh?
What length stitch do you use?
Three, I have it set on 3 millimeter, which is like 10 stitches per inch. Yeah, well. Probably. Just keeping everything as flat as I can as I go. If I have to sweep it from side to side, I will. If I have to slow down, I will. If I have to tighten my waves, I will. If I have to loosen them, I will. I am stitching about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch apart from, you know, pass to pass as I go. It's not perfect, and it's 100% not perfect. I could say that a bazillion times. It's not, they're not symmetrical lines. And see, I'm starting to shift a little. I'm just gonna smooth it out. That's why I cut my backing to be a lot bigger than the top. Just smooth it out. You can pin if you want to, but it's still gonna shift if you pin. You know how I know? Because it used to, when I used to do this kind of stuff. This walking foot is not foolproof. Let me just say that. Ever since I started doing that. If I would have free motion quilted, it would have been better. But I'm using the walking foot. It's stretching and pulling on things. Even though it evenly feeds the fabric. And it sounds like a machine gun. So I gotta re-smooth the back out too now. But you can see there's still no puckering and it feels really cool. I like the feeling of it. And it looks cool. If I went a little slower, I probably would have less problems. But when do I ever slow down? It's starting to get to that point where it's in the throat space, but it's not. Just keeping it flat as I go. That's all I'm doing. It's bunching up. Let's sit further back. How about that? Let's smooth it out again. That back seems nice and smooth, so that's a plus. Yep, looks smooth to me. Just spray based or pin. Don't be me. And need to smooth it out every 2 seconds. Or use the powder based. There's a powder based. Sitting this far back, I can't use the knee lift. When I what?
Use the long arm, you spray base.
I don't spray baste on the long arm. The long arm does not require any kind of sprays or adhesives. You roll it on, and then you stitch baste it only on the sides. Nothing else has to be basted on a long arm. That's the purpose of a long arm, is to avoid getting on the floor or on tables to baste. Everything is basted right there as you go on a long arm. And yes, I'm stopping to smooth, but that's just because I want it to stay nice. So far, it's really nice, though. It's not bunching or anything, and it feels really cool. It's making the back look really cool, too.
I like it. I like it.
All right, I'm going to roll this up again. Make it easy on myself. My waves are starting to go sideways, it seems, not straight. I'm going to make 3 of them really close together. Straighten them back out. Come on, roll that up some more. I do a lot. I start really close at the top. So these 2 are touching, these 2 are almost touching, and then I kind of just widen it out as I go to the bottom until I'm back to that seam again. Sometimes it happens. I'm not perfect. None of us are, but we're just making waves is what we're doing, so. Once I make my way back to a specific spot that I'm looking for, then my waves start getting even again. Almost done. It's hard to wave it up there. Huh? Yep, this is a 23-inch square. I'm going to have to slow it down just a little. I'm hitting everything on my desk. It's good to have a nice clear space. My space is not very clear up ahead of me because I don't free motion quilt or stitch like this really ever, so I don't need to worry about keeping that area nice and free of clutter. I'm just going to finish it this way. I don't like to do that because I'm going in one direction the whole time, but I don't have much of a choice. Plus, I'm at the end, so it's okay. And you actually could have just sewn your project together and turned it out if you want as well. And then like do a couple top stitches.
You make sample blocks before you made the whole thing?
Do I make what?
Sample blocks before you made the whole thing.
On this, no. I knew already how to make the block, so I didn't need.
Made 2 of them.
I made 2. This is actually my 3rd project though with these blocks. I wanted the best thing for the 4th of July for you guys. And this is what I finally came up with, was this. So there's another project that you guys didn't get today that I made. And there we have it, all quilted up. And I'm still under 2 hours. So now all I need to do, smooth it out, cut it, and then bind it. So I'm going to go ahead now with this. I'm going to cut like an 1/8 to 1/4, leaving it out because I don't want to lose my points when I bind it. So I'm actually going to cut away from my batting just a little bit. But we're also going to try to keep it nice and straight. My wavy quilting kind of made it a little stretchy, if you guys couldn't tell. So I'm going to just cut away from the batting just a little bit. Right there, straighten that up. Just so that I don't lose my points. And you'll see in a minute what I mean by that. Straighten this edge up right there. Nice straight edge. I don't want to lose my points. Coming right there.
Show all 3 of the quilts when we're done?
Yeah, I'll show the other ones, yes.
That's what I figured.
Well, the other one is hanging on the wall. You guys already saw it. All right. There. I'm going to cut 2.5 inch binding anyway. And this edge out. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and lose those points because shift it a little. And that's okay. Stretch it, stretch it, stretch it back. I'm going to go around it one more time just to make sure everything is equal. As long as my binding lands in a certain spot, it should be okay. I just don't want to have that much batting showing, especially up here. Spray basting would have helped. There we go, that's much better. I'll fix this side real quick. And I'm going to, it just takes a few minutes. A little bit right there, and everything else is good.
Do you have your little thingies for your hanging?
All right, the next thing I'm going to do is cut my binding out. Let me grab some binding fabric. I have, yeah, I'm going to add those right here. I need 3 strips that are, I'm going to use blue on this one because I don't have enough of the other one. So I'm going to use 3 strips. This has stars on it, so you can see.
You don't have enough of red?
No, I don't have enough of that other one. I'm just going to straighten this one side up real quick. Turn it around and cut 2.5-inch strips. I need 3 of them. 1, 2, and 1 more. 3. Place that in my thingamabobber. And then we're going to make the binding like usual. But this is something you guys have been asking about, is hanging hooks. So I'm going to go ahead now and show you how I do this. This is how it hangs on the wall. I put hooks on it. I take ribbon, and this is like 1/2-inch ribbon. It's a little bit more than half. It's like 5/8. What does it say on it? Yeah, 5/8 ribbon. So you can use whatever color. You know, they have all sorts of different colors. You can use red. You can use whatever. This is a pretty thick, the ribbon boutique is what it is. 100% polyester ribbon. I'm going to take the white ribbon and I'm going to cut 4 5-inch pieces off of it. So 1. And yes, I'm using a ruler and rotary cutter for this. 3 and 4. Okay. This is how I make my hanging hooks so that you can hang it on a dowel on a wall. All right. You determine what you want to be the top of the quilt. This is the top of the quilt. So I'm going to flip it upside down and I'm going to lay it between some lines. Can they see right here?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to lay it between equal lines on my cutting mat. So I have it between the 9 and the 32, which is perfect. Yeah, please. Scott's moving the camera just so you guys can see all of it. I'm going to grab 4 binding clips. I'm going to fold ribbon piece number 1 exactly in half, like that, so the both ends meet. And I'm going to line it up right here, 1, 2 inches over, but I'm going to put it on the outside of the 2. I'm going to line the ribbon up with the top of the quilt exactly as best as I can, because or else your hanging things will be uneven if you don't. So there's 1, and then I'm going to fold another 1 in half and go to the other side. And I'm going to come in 1 inch, 2 inch, and on the outside of 2 inches, I'm going to place another clip on there to hold my ribbon. Now I'm going to equally count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches. And I'm going to go to the 6. I'm going to go to 6 inches, but I'm going to go to the inside of the 6 inches. So that's the technically on the 5th inch. Fold 1 in half. Because this is a 23-inch quilt, but I want them equally spaced apart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the 6th, but the inside of it. So now they should be 5 inches in the middle right here, 2 inches on the edge. The space right here is 5.5 between the 2. Yep. And they're equally spaced. Now I'm going to go over to the machine and stitch these down. I still have the walking foot on, so I'm just going to go ahead and use that. I'm going to hold it very carefully, remove the pin. Scott's moving the camera so you can see. I'm going to very carefully hold it, put it on the machine, remove that pin, and I'm going to stitch back and forth like 3 to work because I'm out of thread or I came unthreaded. Did I run out of bobbin? I probably did. That's why it came unthreaded, because I'm out of bobbin. I did do all that quilting. Yep, it's out of bobbin. It doesn't matter what I put in the bobbin right now. I'm just going to go ahead and put the other color back in there because technically I'm not top stitching right this very second. All right, let me do that one more time. And then I'm going to come to the next one, holding it down. I'm making sure I'm not shifting that ribbon at all, and I'm right next to the edge, less than 1/4 of an inch from the edge where I'm tacking them. Come to this next one, hold it, don't move it or anything, just leaving it right there. And then you should have your ribbon hooks on here, nicely secured at the top of the quilt. So when you bind it, you're going to bind it just the same as you always would. So you can see I'm next to the edge, but I'm not on it. So when you bind it the same as you would with any other binding, I'm just going to show you as an example because I'm running out of time to bind. When you attach your binding, there's a strip left from the last one. I always attach mine to the back and then bring it to the front because that's just how I bind. So say I'm attaching it on here, right, like this. I'm going to sew down here and then I go to flip it to the front. So I'd be stitched right here. I'm flipping it to the front. When you stitch flip to the front, you can either stitch it with this facing up to permanently be up, or you can stitch that top stitch with this facing down so that it permanently holds it down, but when it hangs, it will still hang properly, but it'll stay down if you want to use your wall hanging as, say, a table topper or whatever for that day. So you can either keep them facing down or pull it up out of the way as you top stitch getting to them. Does that make any sense? So again, I would just stitch it to the back like I always do, flip it to the front like this, and then I would have this either up or down. I do it with them down so that it can be a table runner or a table topper, but you don't have to. You can move it out of the way and stitch it. It'll still hang out back there. That way it's not in the way. So that's how that would be done. And then obviously this one's going to finish with blue, but which I think is cute. We'll just lay that on there so you can see. Oh yeah, that's going to be nice right next to that edge. Perfect. So that's going to be my binding. I fold it on there like that. Yeah. So that'll be nice. So you only need 3 strips because it's only a 23-inch square. Look at that. So there it is. There's today's project. I'll put the camera back where it goes while I grab the other thing I made and show them all of my projects. For now, I will just, no, I don't want to stay on any longer. I'm getting hungry and stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and hang this one up crooked like that. That's not going to stay very well, is it? So even though it's not bound yet, I'm just still going to hang it up here so you can see. Stay right there. 2 different looks. One is quilted with stars and loops on the long arm, and this one is sit down free motion. This one definitely has more texture to it. I kind of like it. And this one's a little bit more flatter. And then the other project I made before I even decided on what I was going to for surely show you guys what to make today. I liked the flag idea better, but just because I'm going to show you the other project I came up with the same exact stars. This is the other red, white, and blue project. So the problem with this one was doing the blue stars with the white background. Some of them, if you can see, are lost. There wasn't enough contrast. Oh, there's 1 or 2 actually that don't have enough contrast that are hard to tell.
Only this one. All the others look amazing.
And then the back of this one is actual flag fabric that I have for, making those stick flags. The flag on a dowel thing that you get when you go to like parades and stuff. That's actually what these fabrics are, the fabric on the back. Because I had almost a whole bolt of it. So there's that. So 3 projects, 3 same stars, just different finishes. This is a lot of stars, so that's if you just sash them and cornerstone them. This is if you turn it to a flag. Really cool, right? And obviously they look good when they're finished and bound. And there that is. The 4th of July project. Okay. All right, my friends. Any questions or anything before I get off of here? Oh, and by the way, yes, I did get my new glasses. They are purple and black. So they're bifocals. I'm totally not used to that part yet. I know to look down and I can actually see and read. And I can look up and see and read, but I'm not used to the line across it yet. I'm trying to get used to it, but we'll see. But I like them. I think they're cute. Any questions or anything? Nothing? All right, guys. Well, thank you for hanging out this morning for our lovely flag breakfast on a wonderful Independence Day. So happy 4th of July, everyone. Don't forget to shelter your animals later when the boom boom starts. Have fun barbecuing, have fun swimming and spending time with your family. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.